In its bid to enforce the rules to the letter, the Driver and Vehicle Licensing Authority has refused to register commercial vehicles which have no seat belts installed. The DVLA some weeks ago said it was going to insist on the installation of seat belts in all vehicles as a requirement for registration from the beginning of September. A week into September, and no commercial buses have been registered by the authority because they do not meet the requirements. Joy News' Kwamna Chenchehene Boateng has more.
According to the DVLA, not a single commercial bus, also known as trotro, has been able to pass the mandatory seatbelt test since it started enforcing the law on September 1. Assistant Manager of the Regional Office of the DVLA, Emmanuel Kluger, tells Joy News, though no trotro has been able to pass the necessary tests, the authority does not intend to relax the directive, insisting the vehicles will need to install their seatbelts so they can be registered.
Not at all.
Not even one?
Not even one, because they have not made the requirements, the basic requirements. In the beginning of every law in this country goes through a lot of debates. So when you come out with a policy like this, it has a rough edges that we have to reshaping it to get it done very well. So with time, people will get used to this. Just like when we started with the CBT system, computer by Dabeng, we had a lot, but today people enjoy it than any other exam that they really ask them to go through. It's possible to do it. We only have to emulate it from other vehicles that comes to the system. For instance, the U-turn buses. Each seat has a seat belt. If you on the air, if you travel by air, we have a seat belt over there. So it's the same principle that we want them to apply.
And how
it's rather unfortunate that people have to import a van and then convert them to commercial usage, which is the buses. That is why we are seeing these things to be very difficult. Else, it's not anything so difficult.
Some drivers who spoke to Joy News, however, say they have encountered a lot of frustrations trying to get the seatbelts installed.
When you are implementing a policy, you have to educate the people and let them know what they are supposed to do. You are saying they should fix seat belts and other things. Fine, it's good policy. But what are the garages for them to fix the seat belts? So you just sit down, you impose a policy on the people without let them know what they have to do. Now the cars are being imported, government has taken its taxes, and then people are now going to use the car to work for purpose for which it was brought into the country, and you are not preventing them. So are they going to refund the money that they pay at the port to them or what?
First day, no, no say kunyani 5 seat, yinko yi bako, eni yeko yi bako no, ena o seat belt, ni yeko ye seat belt no bae. Ano pay ye bae, omu say senia, omu pena nyesa, eni yako ye the same thing, e bae. Se bibi na se bibi sa, ese anka umma date. So if you say, yeah, ye nim. Trotro na nam sabi okuvufo bus no kura nam krum no seatbelt nim nso mo dem rana ba we so yakwa boso kan kototo enuoma no e de ahyehye we kan a second time ye de abahani still rom seatbelt no say problem yen san koye middle one akaba ko na kire nia no ono na akoma pe no e no be it since last week obi ani ho watumi alanse bus bia wa ha.
The seatbelt now my compulsory Ghana and pay for say seatbelt in woman. And there's a quan bef super no meeting office seatbelt no. Amaka no car container.
So me say ba ko how mo fix seatbelts.
Say no we sure say we need better sin abrofo de no mo be there. Correct sin abrofo de no.
Say we dey bo wa won kwa ho ban. Any obi bia obefo trotro
about say me kura nkora be mienu a. Enti me na nkwala no mienu no be say umunu be say 10 years. Na say me amintua lot fe na me manyini be 35 to 40 years na me tua 40 2 cedi na me sit eni so a enti me nkwala no so mfa mo me fa nkwala no so nhyɛ fa.
The DVLA also noted that per the same timeline of September 1, prospective drivers who require licenses must now have a 48-hour driving training experience from a recognized training institution in the country.
When you go to the airline 2180 of 2012 July, Regulation 26 spell out the requirement for acquisition of a learner license. And one of the requirements is every applicant has to go through a 48 hours driving training from a recognized driving school. So it is about time we act on this regulation 26 So when the applicants come, we direct them to go back to the driving school to have this training before we register them to our system.
With such modifications made to the registration process, one can only wonder whether this will finally be the point where the motoring public did the right thing, or perhaps the frustrations may compel people to circumvent the laid-down procedures. Reporting for Joy News, Kwabna Chenchenhine Boateng.
This is how the trottoir is supposed to be.